Namaskar. I offer my pranams to Revered Swami Siddheshanandaji Maharaj, who has given me this opportunity to be here with you all virtually. The subject that is before us is One God, Many Names. This is, of course, a very ancient thought and idea from Vedic times in India. Right here in the Vedanta Society of New York, when you go downstairs to the shrine, you will find it's written in big letters, Ekam Sad Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. The truth is one, the reality is one, but the wise speak of it differently. This has been our way of looking at different religious traditions from very ancient times. In the Shiva Mahimna Stotra, we find that the same idea that all the different religions are various paths to the same reality. It says that the three Vedas, the Sankhya philosophy, the Yoga philosophy, the doctrine of the Pashupatas, the doctrine of the Vaishnavas, they all lead to thee, O Lord, just as all rivers flow to the same ocean. In the Maha Upanishad, we find the famous saying, the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that the whole world is our relatives. So this has been there in Hinduism from time immemorial. But it was in this present age that Sri Ramakrishna stressed this idea of the oneness of reality and the harmony of different religions. Now, it is something that is quite normal in India, quite easily accepted, especially among the devotees, amongst us, the followers of Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, the Holy Mother. We accept the truth of all religions, that they all lead to the same reality. We do that quite easily. It's quite normal for us. And the importance of this teaching, of the harmony of religions, that the truth is one, but the wise speak of it differently, the importance of this concept, of this understanding, one becomes aware more and more if you come out to these countries in the West. For example, here in the United States, one of the most advanced, the most powerful country in the West. Here, in this very advanced society, you find a remarkable narrowness regarding religion, a remarkable exclusivity regarding religion, that my religion alone is true and the others are false. How could all religions be true? Something that is pretty easy for us to understand is not at all easily grasped by people here, including very smart people, including theologians and professors. So the teaching of the harmony of religions is very important even today, maybe especially so today when the world has become a smaller place, when we are all close to each other, we have to live with each other. The need for harmony is even more. So Sri Ramakrishna's teachings of the harmony of religions, if we explore it closely, the question is, how is it that if the truth is one, the expressions of it can be many? If the truth is one, the expression of it also should be one. See, this is the big question which is asked here. The idea is, if there is something that there is true, it is true, and I realize it is true, then I will say it the way it is. How can it be possible that different people will say different things about the same truth? It must be that one of them is right and everybody else is wrong. And it often turns out the right religion is my religion, whatever that religion is, and the wrong religion is your religion. So this is what happens here. Sri Ramakrishna said that the God is infinite. He spoke about the infinitude of God. Tini ananto patu ananto. The Lord is infinite and the paths to God are also infinite. Because of the infinitude of God, it is possible that different aspects can be expressed in different language. He gave a very beautiful example of an ant who goes to a mountain of sugar and then struggles to bring one grain of that sugar, and is dragging that grain along and looks back at the mountain of sugar and says, I'll come back and take the whole thing home. It's impossible. How can a little ant take more than what it has already got? Can it take the entire mountain of sugar? It's impossible. Nor does it need to do so. Oh, that little grain of sugar is enough for that ant. Similarly, nobody can encompass the whole of God, the whole of that ultimate reality. We are like those little ants. If we are fortunate enough to come to that hill of sugar, which is God, we understand or grasp one tiny aspect of it. And that's more than enough for our own salvation, for our own freedom. And because of these infinite aspects, another thing which Sri Ramakrishna said was that the ultimate reality is beyond language. This is again a very ancient Vedantic doctrine, um, avang manasagocharam, beyond language, beyond speech. Language cannot express that ultimate reality. Sri Ramakrishna used a very homely but Bengali example, which can be understood in Bengal or in India, but it's difficult to explain it in English. He said, "Brahmoi ekmatra bostu ja etho hoyni." It's very difficult to explain etho in English, so you have to explain the whole custom of, it cannot be touched by your tongue, and you cannot offer it to somebody else to eat. So the way to put it in English would be the ultimate reality, Brahman, is the only thing that has not been defiled by tongue, in the sense that it cannot be precisely expressed in language, which means if it cannot be precisely expressed in language, whatever expression that we give to that ultimate reality in the different religions of the world, or within Hinduism, where there's such a variety of expressions, all of them, they are not wrong. They are approximations. They are our best attempts of very wise people, of enlightened people, of deeply spiritual people to express that reality in human language. Sri Ramakrishna's very famous example of different people going to the same pond and drawing water from there. Somebody calls that water jal, somebody says pani, somebody says water. He even said somebody says aqua. I wonder who calls it aqua. But anyway, the point is taken that different names can be given, different words can be used, but they're all referring to the same substance. It could also be personal and impersonal, with form and without form, the same reality. Sri Ramakrishna would often ask the devotees who would go to him, what do you like, Nirakara or Sakara, without form or with form? And sometimes the devotees would say, Nirakara, without form or with form. And Sri Ramakrishna would say that both are right, both are correct. And that was puzzling. How could something be with form and without form at the same time? And he gave this beautiful example of water, which freezes with the intense devotion of the devotee. It freezes into various forms, into the forms in which the devotee wants to realize God, Rama or Krishna or Devi or Shiva or Narayana. Or, he says, when the sun of knowledge rises, that mass of ice melts away into the formless water. In the same way, we can also realize that the same God is also the impersonal, formless absolute. Now, he says that the purpose of life is to realize God. That yes, God is infinite and beyond language. All attempts at expressing God are the different religions of the world. But what is the purpose? What do we do with this? He says the whole purpose of human life is to realize God. And he says, give a very nice example of a person who goes to a garden. He says, you have come to eat mangoes. Why are you counting, the branches and the leaves? And so eat mangoes and be satisfied, which means the goal is to realize God. The goal is not to quarrel over different theological points and to fight over that. The purpose of religion is God realization. Again, for us who are Hindus or who are followers of Sri Ramakrishna especially, we take this very naturally. It's very easy for us that yes, that's the purpose, that's the goal of life. But again, if you would see some of the very smart people, very intelligent scholars who study religion, it's not at all clear to people what is the purpose of religion. If you ask people, some people will say, is the purpose of religion Is it to bind society together? Is it to do politics, or is it to fight against other people? Is the purpose of religion to inculcate, to teach morality and ethics? Um, is it to form a better society? The whole purpose of religion is to form a better society. That's the ideal here. You might be surprised that uh, the whole point. I've been talking with scholars of religion, and often the discussion is, how can we use religion? How can we use the teachings of religion to combat racism, to bring about gender equality, to uh, how to fight against the global warming and protect the environment, and so on, and politics. Which side are you on? Are you on Trump's side or Biden's side? And this seems to be the whole fight over religion. That the purpose of religion is God realization. The purpose of religion is enlightenment and salvation and freedom, moksha, which the ancients knew very well. And which the modern people seem to have become a little confused about. Sri Ramakrishna said in no uncertain terms, the ultimate purpose, the real purpose of religion is God realization. The real purpose of life is God realization. Human life is for God realization. Religion is for God realization. Other things might be there. You can use religion to improve society. That's very good. You can, and one must use religion to teach ethics and morality. That's of course very good, and that's essential as a foundation for the higher spirituality. But that is not the purpose of religion. That is not the ultimate goal for religion. Then what happens to all these religions? It follows then that all these different religions, the various paths within Hinduism, um, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, and Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, all these religions of the world, they are different paths to God realization. If our goal is God realization, if the purpose of religion is God realization, then why are there so a variety of religions? There's a variety of religions. It flows from the infinitude of God, from the inability of language to express the reality of God precisely or adequately, but also because these are different paths which will take us to the purpose, the ultimate purpose of religion and the purpose of our lives, which is to realize God. Brahmagyan or Bhagavan Labh. This is the purpose of life. The different religions are different paths to realize this. Sri Ramakrishna would illustrate it very nicely. He would say, to climb to the roof of a house, you can climb through the stairs. Of course, these days is a lift. You can take the lift up, or you can put a bamboo ladder against the wall of the house and climb up, or you can go up with a rope. In whatever way, you can climb up to the roof of the house, and all of these are valid ways. Once Keshav Sen and other Brahmo devotees came to meet Sri Ramakrishna in Dakshineshwar. And Sri Ramakrishna is saying that, just look, some of you came by coach, some of you came by boat, some of you walked here, but all of you got here ultimately. Some came early, some came a little late, but all of you got here. Similarly, all religions are paths to the realization of God. He says the Brahmos, a reformed sect of Hinduism in 19th century, the Brahmos will reach God. So will the Vaishnavas, so will the Shaktas, and the Christians and the Muslims too will reach God. And all religions, those who are sincerely, those who seek, they will reach God. Sri Ramakrishna said, Mat Path, the various teachings, doctrines, they are paths. Then he said, Mat kichu nai. It's the particular path is not all that important. And added, Aktake dhore thakte hai. But you have to hold on to one sincerely. Look at how he changes the emphasis. It's not so important that you have to believe in one particular one, reject the others. That's not the point of it. The point is you need one. He's not even dismissing all the paths. That's also impossible. You must hold on to one tradition, one parampara, something to do, and then proceed along that sincerity. It's a sincerity, the yearning, which is more important than the subtleties of doctrinal differences. What follows from this? If all paths are true, if they all reach God, take you to God, they all are valid, then which one should we follow? And should we follow Sri Ramakrishna's example, which he practiced so many paths within Hinduism, the Tantra and the Vaishnava devotion. Of course, he was a worshipper of Divine Mother above all things, the Vedantic path of non-duality. Um, so, and devotion to Christ, the Christian path, or the Sufi mysticism in Islam. He practiced all of them. So are we supposed to practice all of that? There was a gentleman who was giving a talk in Belur Math once in a big program, and he was saying, well-intentioned gentleman, he was saying that I am a Hindu on Monday and Zoroastrian on Tuesday or something like that, a Muslim on Friday, Christian on Sunday. So I practice all the major religions of the world in the week. Not that way. That way will not work. Sri Ramakrishna gave the example of a man digging for water, digging a well for water. And he digs in one place. Obviously, it's hard work. So after some time, he's tired. And he says, no, it's useless. You can't get water here. Maybe I'll dig there. And he digs in another place, 1 foot there. And he still doesn't get water. A third place. At the end of the day, he has dug 6 different places, but he has not got water. Maybe if he had dug in one place 6 feet deep, he would have got water. Similarly, we have to follow one intensely, sincerely, hold on to one. So this is the concept of Ishta Devata and Ishta Nishta. So Ishta Devata, Ishta Mantra and Ishta Nishta. Ishta means the desired form or the desired one. God in that particular form. It could be my Ishta is Krishna or your Ishta is Rama, but we are all worshipping the same Lord in different forms. So Ishta Nishta, holding on to one. And having great respect for all other forms. I may be a follower of Sri Ramakrishna, but I know that if you worship Rama or Krishna, or if you are worshipping in the Sikh way or the Christian way or the Muslim way, I know it is Sri Ramakrishna alone in all of those forms. And so it's not that I must have respect, it's inevitable. How can I disrespect other religions? How can I disrespect the teachings of other religions? Because it's like disrespecting Sri Ramakrishna himself. But that's impossible for us, especially as followers of Thakur Ma and Swamiji. So this sort of ties up the whole, the core ideas, the core philosophy behind the harmony of religions taught by Sri Ramakrishna in this day. Thank you.